Welcome everyone to this video by Learn Civil Engineering, where we will be working through the technique for calculating the hydrostatic load on a vertical end wall. This video follows on from principles learnt in previous videos, where we learnt how to use the surface integral to find the centroid of a planar surface, and then where we introduced the techniques for calculating hydrostatic loads. I'll leave the links to both of these in the description so you can check them out if you haven't already. So, to start off, consider the situation shown here in the diagram of a uniform rectangular tank containing a static liquid of uniform density ρ. The tank is open and the liquid's free surface is exposed to the atmosphere. The base and side walls of the tank are planar surfaces, with the base being horizontal and the four side walls being vertical. The liquid has a uniform depth of h0 and the tank has a length of L and a width of W. The coordinate directions, x, y and z, are defined as shown, relative to the bottom corner of the tank, with z denoting the vertical height above the tank's base, and x and y denoting the horizontal coordinates in the plane of the tank's base. For convenience, as we will see later, we also introduce the h coordinate, denoting the vertical depth below the liquid's free surface. And remember from an earlier video, we discussed that h is related to z by h equals h0 minus z. With this information and the techniques learnt in the previous videos, we will now work through how to calculate the hydrostatic load, F, and its corresponding centre of pressure that acts on the end wall of the tank at y equals L. We will let S denote the region of the end wall surface that is in contact with the liquid, which has an area of A equals WH0. That is, S consists of the points from x equals 0 to x equals w, y equals L, and h equals 0 to h equals h0. The end wall is vertical and has unit outward normal vector n is equal to negative j. Therefore, taking the equations we learnt in the video introducing hydrostatic loads, we have the hydrostatic force F equals F times j, with the force F equals the surface integral of P relative to H with respect to A. We know that the gauge pressure distribution, in terms of depth H, is P with respect to H equals ρgh, for H equals 0 to H equals h0, and therefore, as the H coordinate varies over the end wall's surface, we know that the pressure also varies over the end wall's surface. This is a noticeable difference from the situation in the last video, where the pressure was constant over the surface when calculating the hydrostatic load applied to a horizontal base. To evaluate this integral, we write dA equals dx dh, because it is the x and h coordinates that lie in the plane of the surface S. And then, we integrate the product P with respect to x and h at all points on the surface S, which is just from x equals 0 to x equals w, and h equals 0 to h equals h0. Writing this equation out then, we have f is equal to the surface integral of p with respect to a, which as we've just discussed can be written as the integral of p with respect to h from h equals 0 to h equals h0, then integrated with respect to x from x equals 0 to x equals w. Substituting the gauge pressure distribution, this can be written as the integral of ρgh with respect to h, with boundary limits of 0 and h0, times by the integral of 1 with respect to x, with boundary limits of 0 and w. Factoring ρg out of the integral, we are left with ρg times the integral of h with respect to h, from 0 to h0, times by the integral of 1 with respect to x, from 0 to w. The integral of h with respect to h is equal to 1/2 h squared, and the integral of 1 with respect to x is equal to x. Therefore, our equation results with ρg times by 1/2 h squared with limits of 0 and h0 times by x with limits of 0 and w. Substituting in our limits, we get that f is equal to 1/2 ρg w h0 squared. Now, recall that the area of the end wall that is in contact with the liquid, A, is equal to WH0, and so, substituting this into our previous answer, F is equal to 1/2 rho g h naught A. The centre of pressure of F, which is the point of action of F on S, is found using moments. We will let xp hp denote the centre of pressure for the load F, and let mx denote the moment of F about the x-axis at the free surface of the liquid, and mh the moment of F about the h-axis. With this, we have mx is equal to hpf, and mh is equal to xpf. Additionally, the moments mx and mh can be found using the hydrostatic pressure distribution. For this, we have mx equals the surface integral of hp with respect to A, and mh equals the surface integral of xp with respect to A. Then, combining the two sets of equations gives fhp equals the surface integral of hp with respect to A, and fxp equals the surface integral of xp with respect to A. Starting with finding xp first, we can express this equation as the integral of x times p with respect to h from h equals 0 to h equals h naught, all integrated with respect to x from x equals 0 to x equals w. Substituting our pressure distribution in for p and factoring the constants rho g out of the integral, we have rho g times the integral of h with respect to h from 0 to h naught times by the integral of x with respect to x from 0 to w. The integral of h with respect to h is equal to 1/2 h squared, and we get the same outcome for the integral of x with respect to x. Therefore, we get rho g times 1/2 h squared with boundary limits of 0 and h naught times by 1/2 x squared with boundary limits of 0 and w. Substituting in the boundary limits results with 1/2 rho g h naught squared times by 1/2 w squared. We saw before that f is equal to 1/2 rho g w h naught squared, so we can factor this out of our answer to give fxp equals 1/2 wf, and with the f's on either side cancelling out, we're left with xp is equal to 1/2 w. So, as expected, the centre of pressure, xp, lies along the vertical line of symmetry, which is just the centre line of the surface S. Now, let's do the same for hp. We can express the equation above as the integral of h times p with respect to h from h equals 0 to h equals h naught, all integrated with respect to x from x equals 0 to x equals w. Substituting our pressure distribution in for p, and factoring the constants rho g out of the integral, we have rho g times the integral of h squared with respect to h from 0 to h naught times by the integral of 1 with respect to x from 0 to w. The integral of h squared with respect to h is equal to 1/3 h cubed, and the integral of 1 with respect to x just equals x. And so we get rho g times 1/3 h cubed with boundary limits of 0 and h naught times by x with boundary limits of 0 and w. Substituting in the boundary limits results with 1/3 rho g h naught cubed times by w. We saw before that f is equal to 1/2 rho g w h naught squared, so we can express this answer such that fhp is equal to 2/3 h naught times by 1/2 rho g w h naught squared. And substituting f in, we have 2/3 h naught f. So with the f's on either side cancelling out, we're left with hp is equal to 2/3 h naught. Therefore, we can conclude by saying the magnitude of the hydrostatic load acting on the vertical end wall, F, equals 1/2 rho g h naught A, and the centre of pressure on S is located at xp hp is equal to 1/2 w 2/3 h naught. This result is intuitive because the pressure does not vary horizontally across S, so we expect Cp to be positioned along the vertical centre line of S. However, the pressure does vary vertically across S. In particular, there is greater pressure acting on the bottom of the surface than at the top, hence we expect Cp to be positioned in the bottom half of S. Note that in terms of the z coordinate, Cp on S is positioned at xp zp is equal to 1/2 W 1/3 H0. So that then is how we can calculate the hydrostatic load on a vertical end base and find the point of action of that load. In the next video, we will calculate the hydrostatic load and the point of action of that load on an inclined end wall. This has been a video by Learn Civil Engineering. If you have found this video useful at all, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel to show your support. If you do have any remaining questions or would like me to cover a specific topic, please leave them in the comment section below and I will try to respond as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.